Good afternoon, super friends, and welcome to the Monday, September 22nd fall equinox post-eclipse version of the sacred news and weather. I'm so delighted and grateful that you're here. And I want to start by saying thank you for your patience with me. I know that I did not deliver us a message on Friday. On Wednesday, when I left our last message, I had every intention of leaving a new message for you on Friday, but life in the eclipse season really got me by the throat, maybe we could say, and I needed to go on my own little healer's journey in order to really get clear on what I was leaving behind and what was coming forward with me post eclipse season. And I'm just so grateful. I spent my entire day on Friday, mom life notwithstanding, in deep meditation and inquiry with spirit. And I've been integrating it in really early morning meditations on both Saturday and Sunday, and this morning as well. And now I'm showing up to you, I feel like in almost in a new form. And I'm so curious to know where all of you are on the other side of this. I know that some of this collective has been working with the energy of eclipses and equinoxes and energy in general for a very long time. And some of you who follow me, this is really new language for you and a new experience for you. And just know that wherever you are in your process, wherever you are in your spiritual journey is exactly perfect and welcome here. And I try to, when I tap into the energy of the community, I try and find language and points of connectivity for all who are contributing their energy to this work. So hopefully you will see yourself, find yourself in this message today. But like anything I deliver, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If you don't see yourself in today's message, that's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong. Just scroll down and see what else is there. You might find something there for you, or wait until Wednesday. There's always going to be more. I'm actually contemplating delivering a daily message, not one where I'm coming on screen every day, because sometimes I just want to be in my workout clothes with my hair all piled on top of my head and a sweaty, hot mess. Um, Not that I'm much better right now, by the way, but sometimes I don't want to think about what I look like, and yet there's something that comes through for us. So I'm contemplating playing with the form a little bit. It sounds like there's somebody in my backyard. There might be somebody doing some yard work. And judging by the timing of Wednesday, where I think everybody in town was doing tree work, I would not be surprised if the mow and blow folks crank up right about now. So hopefully you can't hear that. And that's just for me and little Miss Chia, who just growled. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and close my eyes and just bring you into a little bit of what came forward for our collective today. And the first thing I want to say is, in my own personal experience of this eclipse, this particular eclipse, but the whole season as a whole, I'm actually surprised that what I thought I wanted to happen, what I chose, what the intention that I set for myself and for the work of the eclipse just very nearly fell by the wayside, but not in terms of like I let it go and didn't do the work, but Spirit just had other plans for me. I had my own intentions, but Spirit was like, no, that's not what's happening. Like you can want that, you can ask for that, but that's not what we're getting this time around. And it caught me off guard and it caught me by surprise. And I had to like get real quiet and sit with it and ask why. My immediate response was my very Capricorn, very wounded old school response of, I'm not working hard enough. I'm not doing this right. I have to do this better. I have to do this in a different way because I'm doing it wrong. And Spirit was like, this is exactly right. You are doing the work. You need to surrender your intentions for my intentions. And you just need to lean back, little girl, and trust me. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard. And even today, even in this very moment, even though I had a really magical day of writing that felt so connected and so beautiful and so like, okay, I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, even in spite of that, this other piece, this hanger on, the thing that I thought I was going to shed, but was told, in fact, you're going to bring it closer, is just sitting with me in this state of, hmm, okay, how is this going to unfold? And then Spirit says, you just get to trust. You just get to trust me. You get to trust the deepest parts of you, that this is exactly what is supposed to be happening for you. So let me see if I can dial this in to something a little more tangible, something that you can bite on and like hold. Now, the feeling is there's so much, but the feeling is that something that for some of us, for most of us, there was something that you thought you were going to let go of, something from an old version of yourself that you thought you were going to use this ecliptic energy to leave behind. And we've been talking here about like stepping into the next timeline, about moving into a higher timeline and leaving that which is no longer serving you behind. That's been a theme in this collective since I began delivering these messages. And there's a feeling of, huh, and maybe I did it wrong around not letting go of one part of you or your story that you thought might have even been the thing that was going to go, the thing that was going to leave. And for some of you, it was like, I'm going to leave behind this job, or I'm going to leave behind this whole line of work, or I'm going to leave behind this person, this relationship. I'm going to leave behind a substance, food or alcohol or a way of living. Like, I'm going to leave behind this way of doing things and I'm going to take up this new way of doing things. And where you're finding yourself today on the other side of the eclipse is still with that craving, with that desire, or with like circumstances that you thought were going to change, but they have not. And here's what I've got for you. And it's when I say I, it's not me. Here's what Spirit has told me. And again, I spent quite a bit of time journaling about this, praying about this, meditating on it. If you have found yourself on the other side of this eclipse in the same place that you were before the eclipse, it's not because you did it wrong or you're doing it wrong. First of all, you're not in the same place because today is a new day, and we are always given the option of choosing something new for ourselves. But if there is a hanger on, if there is something you are still bringing into the present that you thought you were going to leave behind, it's not because you are stuck. It is because you have not learned all there is for you to learn from this experience. It's because you have not healed all that you are meant to heal from that experience, whether it's a job, a person. Again, you know all of the options and you know what is resonating for you right now, the deepest, what is most forward for you when you're hearing this message. You already know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, this might not be your message, and that's fine. What is still here is still for you. You didn't do it wrong. What is here is still here for you to learn from, to grow from, to heal from. But where the choice comes in is how you choose to move forward with this person, experience, etc. There There are several invitations here, and I'm going to share with you the one that came forward for me. And I'm going to speak in terms of my line of work, though that's not actually the thing that I was trying to leave behind. What came forward for me is that when I first started doing this work, when I first started life coaching, when I first started learning about my healing capabilities, when I first started learning what I could see and what I could do and how to move energy, I often acted as a bridge between a person and their experience and my knowing and what I could offer. So by bridge, I mean, and some of you may still resonate with this, and some of you are still in the bridging role. So there's no hierarchy here. I want you to know that if you are identifying with what I'm talking about here as being a bridge between one way of being and another, as someone who teaches others how to move into this work, how to elevate themselves. If you identify with that, that is awesome. And this is not a criticism of that. Please know that. But when I first started doing this work, I viewed my role as the bridge, and I would come into the vibration of another. I would meet the vibration of another where they were. And my work was to reach my hand and pull people up to what I could teach them, where I was. And again, I'm not talking like I'm at a higher level. What I'm talking about is opening them up to what's possible for them. So no hierarchy here. It's just a reaching into one vibration, and it is a drawing up into a new timeline. It is a raising of vibration, because each time we become more aware of what's possible to us, it's a raising of the vibration. And I would drop into someone else's vibration and I would bring them up to where I was so they could see what was possible for them. And from there, there was a choice. They could continue to open to their higher vibrations and what was possible for them, or they could drop back into the place that they were before. And there's always choice here. What's come through in the eclipse for me around my work is, and I think it was happening before the eclipse, but the awareness came forward in my meditations and journeying this weekend, is that my job now, my role has shifted, my work in the world has shifted. And this may be true for some of you in this collective, which is why it's coming forward. I am no longer meant to drop down in and reach down and pull up. I am meant to anchor in whatever frequency I'm in and invite people to come and rise up and meet me where I am. So there's no more shifting of my own frequency to drop into where other people are. It's a standing, anchored, firm place of, this is the frequency at which I vibrate, and you please join me here. I invite you to join me here. But there's no shifting of my own frequency to connect with someone else. And this feels important for some of the folks in our collective, especially if you're finding yourself in the same job or in the same relationship or in the same circumstances that you were in before. I want you to see if you can find that flavor for you where, okay, I'm in this job and I can't leave this job because I have to blah, 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 whatever you insert there. You have to pay your bills. You have to maintain your health insurance, whatever storyline you need, and you need to stay in this job for X amount longer, and you're not being able to shed it, then I want you to see if you can hold the frequency of, this is not my work in the world, and I don't need to lower myself into the very things that I don't like about this job so that I can stay here. You're being invited to now, on this side of the eclipse, to keep that vibration of where you're going, where you desire to go, all the way up and vibrating so that you know you're not dipping down into lower vibrations, into lower frequencies, and accidentally rewiring yourself to believe that this is where you're supposed to be. I don't want you to convince yourself that you're supposed to be somewhere that's uncomfortable. And I don't want you to make yourself uncomfortable just to or make yourself comfortable rather by staying and lowering yourself and staying there, because it's easier to lower your vibration than to continue to vibrate at this higher place. So if you have found yourself in a situation where nothing has seemingly changed on the other side of this eclipse season, I want you to look at your energy, and I want you to see if you can hold and practice holding that frequency of where you're going, of who you are, knowing what you know, and knowing where you want to go. You're being invited to hold that energy and not lower. There's something more here. And this feels also very specific for my practitioners, for my teachers, for my meditators, for those of you who hold space for others. And this is a little bit more esoteric, to be sure. So just bear with me if it's not resonating for you, because there's more on the other side of this. But this wants to come through here, which is, I want you to imagine that what is happening in the world right now, and the reason you are drawn to these messages, the reason you are called to open up these messages and listen to them, is because you're being called into a higher level of this work. It's because you're being called into a higher level of knowingness and understanding of what's actually true. And part of what's happening here in the global frequency is those light workers and the eclipse season that we just came through are really almost leaving the 3D form of who we were behind in order to work and align our work more deeply in the etheric realm. It's not like we're leaving our bodies, and I will state over and over and over again that I am not one of those light workers, those woo-woo people who believe that our goal is to transcend our human experience. We chose these human bodies. We chose to come in at this time, this very troubled, very turbulent time, to do our work in the world. And our work in the world is not to leave these bodies for the ethers. We're not existing in the 5D and leaving behind what's here. We are learning how to attune to what's possible and translate it into the human experience, which is why some of you watch these things and you're like, what the hell is she talking about? And why sometimes I feel like, what am I doing? Why am I actually putting myself out here this way? And this is exactly why, because I have been gifted the ability to see what is possible for individuals and all of humanity. And my work is to not shut up, to not stop until everybody raises their vibration and recognizes, one, that we are all one, and two, that we are all love, and three, that our healing work that we do on ourselves translates into the healing work of our entire planet. And that is my work in the world. I also want you to know, to really connect with and understand that the truth is not anything you're going to read in a newspaper. The truth is not anything you're going to see online. The truth is not being delivered on the nightly news. The truth is not being delivered at your Sunday sermon. The truth isn't even coming from me. Your truth, the truth, is going to come through your filter of your own heart and your own connectivity with the highest version of yourself, whatever your language for that is. And so I am not trying to teach you to transcend your bodies. I am trying to teach you to tune out all of the noise of your woundings, of your patterns, of what's ailing you, of what's ailing the world, and all of the messages that are coming from politicians and newscasters and writers and researchers and medicine and non-medicine. I'm trying to teach you to tune out the noise and tune into the truth so that you almost don't even need to go and look at the nightly news or turn on YouTube or go ask a friend. You can close your eyes and get quiet and recognize what is your wounding and what is the truth. And so that's what part of this message is about as well. It's about reminding you of the why that I'm doing this and the why you're listening to me and why I'm resonating for you. And if I do, please keep watching. Please like and share and subscribe and tell your friends and come join me in all of the communities that I'm about to be opening up. But please stay here with me as well. If you are wondering where you are on the other side of this eclipse and you don't know yet, I'm just going to invite you to get quiet and ask. Ask yourself, ask your guides, ask your angels, ask your ancestors, who am I now? Who am I today? And how can I raise my vibration to become a better version, a more healed version of myself? Whew. This was one of those messages that I literally have no idea what I just said, but that's okay. I'm going to look at my notes here to see if there's anything else. The only other thing that I don't think I mentioned, I might have, and if I did, and I'm repeating myself, I apologize again. I get into the zone and I don't honestly know what I'm saying, but yeah. So the other wisdom that I want to share, if you find yourself still with something of the before version of you, is I want you to ask yourself, like if you're wondering whether it's still for you or if you are holding on to an old pattern or old wounding, I want you to ask yourself if you are choosing certainty, like even an uncomfortable certainty, or if you are willing to let go of that certainty to step into the unknown. So I feel like if you're having trouble discerning whether you are still stuck in an old pattern or if something has shifted and it's still for you, I want you to ask yourself how uncomfortable you are willing to get. Because if you're more comfortable in that old pattern because you're certain of how it works and how you do it, and you're less comfortable with the idea of stepping into the unknown, stepping into uncertainty, then it may be that you need to do a little bit of work to let go of the old pattern. But I want you to ask. I want you to ask your highest self. I want you to lean back and ask your angels and ancestors and guides or the highest version of yourself or your inner truth, whatever your language is. I really don't care. I just want you to get so curious. Am I choosing to stay stuck because I know it? Or am I choosing to move from uncertainty fully into the unknown, knowing that there's more for me in the unknown than there will ever be in what is certain right now? One of the questions that came up for me, I'm going to just look at the time because I got to go get my kids. Okay, I'm still okay. I have a couple minutes. One of the questions that kept running on a loop through my meditations, and this may help you as well, is do you want to be right or do you want to be free? Do you want to be right or do you want to be free? Meaning, do I want to have the right answer? Do I want to know that I'm right? Or do I want to be free from the thing that I'm looping about, but I know I'm right, but I know I'm right, but I know I'm right? And my answer to that question, and I pose that question to myself a lot, is always, I want to be free. 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 I want to be free from the patterns. I want to be free from my wounding. I want to be free from the ties that bind me. I want to be free. I want to be free. I want to be free. And the answer that I heard this weekend for myself was, what if this time it got to be both? And so I also invite you, Chia's dreaming right now. It's very cute.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear that. If you are finding yourself still in with a hanger on, still with the same old pattern, same relationship, same job, again, whatever you're resonating with, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? And be open to the answer that comes, because it may surprise you. It surprised me. Still sitting with whether or not it's a pleasant surprise or not, but I can hang with staying anchored in the higher frequency. So there's something. All right, enough. Enough for me. I love you all. Thank you for being here again. Please like and share and subscribe, comment. I'm happy to have a dialogue with you down below. It would delight me. Let me know if you would be interested in me coming through with something every day. Probably not lengthy, but like a message comes through for us pretty much every day. And it's a matter of whether or not I share it or bring it into the next day's message. So if you do want a daily soundbite from me for a while, I'm willing to play with it. So let me know what you think. All right. Love you. Bye.